You're listening to the Adventurous Weirdos podcast by WatcherDM. Learn more at WatcherDM.com or come join our Patreon at patreon.com/WatcherDM. Stay weird. Hi, I'm Gabriel Hernandez.
I'm Austin Holm.
And we're WatcherDM.
Yep.
And Questgiver Games,
also
Limited. And this is the Adventurous Weirdos podcast. So if you're coming back, thanks for coming back. We missed you. Over the holiday season, we missed 2 or 3 weeks of ding-dongs. And didn't do any podcasts or generate any content of any meaningful length.
Yeah, we hibernated.
At all. We hibernated, as you do,
in December.
For the 4 weeks of December. But we're back. We're back with, and I think this is our capstone, our season finale.
Yes.
For our inaugural season.
Season 1, episode 10 or something.
It's episode 12.
Really?
Yeah, it's episode 12.
That's a good look for a season.
That's what I was like, oh yeah, 12.
That's a season.
That almost means if we do one a month for 2024, we're nailing it. You know what I'm saying?
We also, we sat down and I think we've made some vague half promises that we're going to put more thought and preparation into these and maybe some post-production and
the plan is to try and bring it up. We're going to try and elevate it. But the objective with this first season was just to prove that we could do anything. Yeah. Because we have a really hard time getting things out the fucking door.
Yeah. I think it's good. I mean, it's coming to you uncut and
it's raw.
Impromptu.
Like raw oysters.
A little slimy.
Probably bad.
Yeah.
Raw oysters.
I'm not wearing any makeup.
I'm not wearing any underwear.
I didn't know that. Well, moving on.
Now we all know.
Let's talk about TTRPGs.
Titterpigs.
So,
friends.
I think we wanted to spend this podcast kind of talking about 2023, which I'm sure for most of you...
Fucking don't say that word.
...was a wonderful year, full of joy. But
did you have a good 2023?
Yeah, did you? Leave a comment. Let us know if you survived.
I think the cool thing about 2023 is that despite all the opportunities for us to fail and for things to go badly,
yes,
we did so little that almost nothing happened at all. That it was like from a Watcher DM perspective, like we didn't have any crazy catastrophic anythings. Mm-hmm. Everything was just kind of like, okay, yeah, we'd put out a little thing here and do a little thing there and slowly polish and kind of...
I'm super proud of 3 of the 4 things we put out this year.
I think I'm proud of everything we put out. What's the one thing you're not proud of?
I deeply, deeply love Don't Play This Game. Don't do it. But I think as you and I were discussing, I think after our last podcast on my way out the door, we were discussing that there is another game of the same name, and the guy who wrote it is smarter than I am.
I don't think he's smarter than... In fact, actually, exactly the opposite. Like, he's not smarter than you. He just realized that he's not so smart that he needs to encrypt his game.
Yeah.
And I think, like, that was our stumbling block, was both of us are kind of nerds about cryptography. Mm-hmm. And it was cool on the surface, the idea of a found art, or found object kind of horror.
Yeah.
And cool enough that there is now a Don't Play This Game that is exactly that. And encourages you to create your own found art. Mm-hmm. So go check out Don't Play This Game, the new one. It's great. Mm-hmm. If you are a crypto nerd like us,
check out ours
for like $2 on itch.
Yeah.
And you will get an entirely different experience in the same kind of genre, which I think it's unique that we both kind of hit that nail at the same time.
Yeah, we had the same name, the same theme, and the same core concept.
But ours is encrypted.
Yeah, you couldn't get... So our game, if you see it is a sheet of code, and as you decrypt it, you get like a solo journaling RPG, cosmic horror kind of thing out of it that encourages you to create your own version of it and...
With your own encryption. And your own...
Their version, I forget the name of the studio, I'm going to sound like an asshole, but these amazing, talented people... their version is about taking videos with your cell phone and distributing those, so it's a little...
It's not just about distributing stuff from your cell phone, is it?
I think that's the main thing, is it's like you see the videos or whatever, or you read the book, and then you have to record your own version of it. It's still in Kickstarter.
That's actually even cooler.
Yeah, it's great.
Like,
they're really smart people.
Yeah.
They're not asking a lot from you as a player except to have fun.
Good lessons learned.
Yeah,
lessons learned. And I think that's a good lesson for us to learn.
Let's talk about the stuff we did this year that was, I don't think either of us have reservations about, that unreservedly kicked some ass.
Let's talk about it.
Dark Side of the Mind.
Aw, thanks. Yeah, I was really excited about releasing Dark Side of the Mind. So, Dark Side of the Mind was an adventure for 5e that I was able to work with Ethan Myers from Liars for Hire.
Amazing Instagram account.
Amazing. In fact, idioms is kind of what his game. It's what he does. Idioms and turns of phrase. And I was just the other day, check this out. So we have a rogue in our current party in 5e, and I was like, you know what I need is some thieves' cant.
Yeah.
And where I went was...
Cockney rhyming slang?
No. I went to Liars for Hire. He's got tons of these thieves' cant ideas. And so I pulled all of these from him. Like Gumscrew is a knife or a dagger. Counting Cobble is knocked unconscious.
Those are both really great.
Right? Misty is an alchemist.
Gumscrew has got a nasty implication there.
Yeah, no, they're great. Sweetening a cup,
Yeah.
dosing food or drink with poison.
Yeah.
Like, he just has a fantastic collection. And this is like...
A troll finger for a crowbar. That's fucking awesome.
Right? Yeah, so amazing. And then this I pulled from actual thieves.
Like hobo sign.
Yeah, hobo sign, thieves sign.
That's cool.
So I've got little thief symbols and a cant document that I made for our rogue. You're not going to be able to see it in this light.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, Liars for Hire, amazing. Mm-hmm. The adventure itself is about a unique idea of having a planetoid.
It's like a Spelljammer thing.
Mimic. So yeah, it's a Spelljammer compatible adventure. I guess you could end up. We have a tendency to end up on the moon in our adventures anyway. I think this is the fourth adventure of ours that goes to the moon.
Oh, is it really?
Well, it's your Moon House Masquerade, Destination Moon Palace. Maybe it's just Dark Side. Maybe it's just 3.
I think who knows?
Anyway, beside the point.
Talk about the moon a lot.
Dark Side of the Mind is super fun. I was fortunate enough to do all of the artwork and the layout for that. Which is one of the first. I think it's one of the first ones where I've done
the whole thing.
Kind of the whole thing.
I guess it was kind of, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That piece you did of the moon at the end when they're the getaway piece where it's the moon face. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Pretty
fun.
One of my favorite things about that adventure is that I was involved with it.
Of course.
But no, when we got to play test it, I was in exile down south.
The Boom Goo. That's right. I ran it for you guys.
Yeah, you came
Mexico.
to visit us in Cabo. When I was far from my homeland, my friend came to see me, and we played. We play tested that one, and I had try not to swear as much since it's our season finale, but I had a great time. I had a seriously great time playing that adventure. It's super short. It's a nice little. I think we put my daughter to bed. My wife and I put our daughter to bed, and we were like, okay, we've got like 3 hours before she's like, I need to crawl into my parents' bed, and like that was the perfect amount of time to get this game through.
It's true.
Thrilling escape, fun entry. We landed our spaceship right on a dwarf. Yeah, we pulled up to the moon in our spaceship, and there's a couple guards standing outside a tunnel. We landed our spaceship on them because I think our setup was we knew that it was a mimic, and we knew these guys.
You guys were eco-terrorists.
We were eco-terrorists.
And you were trying to...
Came in hot.
You were like the Greenpeace of space, trying to come in and...
ramming the whale ships.
Yeah, exactly. Which was fantastic. Now, there are other... one of the things I love about that adventure is that the other hooks are really fun.
Yeah.
There's like bring medicine to the dwarves who are sick, so you can be on their side kind of showing up and then be dealing with their derangement. There's like another one where it's just about the ore, and you're like kind of dealing with them on the surface of what it is they're making, which is kind of it's counterfeit ore. So yeah, there's some really fun hooks in it. Also, the cover and the title is of course inspired by the great Pink Floyd, so Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Mind.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's available on Drive-Thru RPG and Itch and Watcher DM.
I'm also really happy with, I think, there's a good low CR monster with some legendary actions in that one, the chef. I'm pretty pleased with how
Mashy
that
Meat
came
Mouth.
together. Mashy Meat Mouth, yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Mashy Meat Smash? Mashy Meat Mouth. Mashy Meat.
I
I
can't
don't
remember. Mouthy Meat Smash.
Mouthy Meat Smash.
That's it.
He's great. And so that I feel
he's got a tentacle beard that holds clam knives.
Clam knives.
And that's his legendary action. He gets to stab you with the knife when you try and attack him with his little beard tentacles.
Yeah.
Which, pretty cool.
Yes.
All things said, pretty cool. Ethan had some really good ideas going into that.
Mm-hmm. And we also had another first-time watcher get a book through this year. Miguel Gonzalez.
So, Miss Quinn's Strange Sweets. Miguel Gonzalez wrote this adventure, Miss Quinn's Strange Sweets, 2 years ago?
Something. 2021 probably.
2021. Right after we started.
2022.
It was right after we started. I think it was 2021.
It was one of those.
Yeah. Right after we started, and he was in the DM Dave class with me, or like in the Discord after, and he had made this pitch, and everybody was like, yeah, whatever, go away. And I was like, no, let me see what you're doing. and so I paid him for the writing, and I went and I took it to Maya Babinu, who of course did the art for
Doom Desert,
the Decanter of Delirium. What else has she done for us? I want to say, is that it? Did we only use her for Doom Desert and this?
Yeah, I think she did one or two kind of small pieces, but I think those are like
they're coming up, or
well, I think that these were the ones that she was like, this is my book, I'm gonna illustrate the whole thing. Like,
yeah.
And
so the artwork I commissioned while she was going to Emily Carr.
Oh.
And she got some of it done and sent them to me. And I was like, oh, this is great. Let's keep going. And then she was like disappeared for like a year. And she came back and she was like, I'm so sorry. It's been a year. I was like, don't even worry about it. I'm not in a rush. Like, this is, let's get it right. And she looked at the art and was like, I'm no longer satisfied with the art that I delivered on the first pass. And she went and redid all of the art.
This stuff is amazing.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now, I will say it is not for everyone, in that it is pink, it is vibrant, it is gay. It is wonderfully gay in every good way.
But also, there's a little darkness in here.
Oh, there's dead children.
There's dead kids. I think it's very sweet and sugary. And
I just talk about the art, the art style. Like, I feel like there are 5e nerds out there who are going to look at this and go, "This is not a D&D book," right? They're going to be like,
"Where's?" Be cheating themselves, I think.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah.
But I had so much fun putting this together, and you can tell that Maya had a great time making the art for it. I was able to do a couple of pieces of art for this as well, which is always super fun, and. It's funny because Miguel, so like, I have not heard from Miguel in a long time. Going through the development process with it, after I kind of bought it. I just bought it, like sight unseen in a way, and then dealt with the realities of that. So a bunch of editing has had to happen, but surprised at how much of it stayed, I think, good from the go.
Yeah, I think the thing is there's some good concepts in there. Like, I mean, it's the setup is kind of unusual. It's like you play Tiefling Orphans, and you each get like a cantrip, and you're kind of playing like almost like a commoner stat block with like a single cantrip, and you have to sneak into this candy shop and chase down your missing friends and get the witch and steal some candy on the way.
Yeah.
It's both like it's a very core D&D kind of fairy tale logic type of thing, but at the same time, it's like it's not standard. This is something special and different. It's a 0 level adventure. It's a great way to start a campaign.
It's a childish level.
A childish level.
Childish level adventure. childish characters.
For 4 childish characters.
Yeah. That's what it says right on the cover.
Well, I think, we always, I think
I love the cover on this. Looks so cute.
Fun because, when we, obviously, the first thing we did together was Doom Desert, and, that's a weird one.
It'll be available on Amazon soon.
Oh, yeah, in a new edition.
New edition, yeah.
But we've had our stay weird, adventurous weirdos, kind of our weird branding, and I think that one just kind of is perfect for us. I don't think other people would have published that one, and
that's true. That's true.
If
there's one thing you can definitely rely on Watcher DM to do, it's take enormous risks and publish really weird shit.
Well, I think it's good.
I think it's good too. No, I love it. I'm super stoked. Okay, so what's the third thing that you're super proud of that we did this year?
The third thing is the one I did, which I'm trying to think of what it even is now. Warp Crawl.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
Yes.
So that's a weird one because, I think on my end, I think the writing end of Warp,
we had finished Warp Crawl.
We were tweaking it over the last year, but
But we had finished it. I don't think we made any changes.
We made some minor changes to the end games.
No, we didn't. We didn't end up making any of those changes.
Oh,
no,
okay.
we talked about them and we were like,
yeah.
You know what? It's fine.
Well, we had play tested for, what would you say, probably 2 months ish of we were
it was longer than that.
We were 13, 14, 15 sessions deep into, and they weren't short sessions either.
No. All the logs for it are actually on the itch page.
Yeah,
you can go read.
You can read our game.
Yeah,
there's some off-color jokes.
What's super fun about that game, I think, one of the most interesting things about it is that it generates a log. It generates an artifact of your play sessions, and that's just not something you normally get out of a game. I think
yeah. Well, I think you and I were kind of joking a couple podcasts ago where we were saying that the thing about most journaling RPGs, most solo RPGs, are great. The only thing they're missing is a couple other players. And I feel like Warp Crawl is kind of like that. It's taking a lot of the stuff I like about solo RPGs, and it's here, do it with your friends.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's super fair. It totally is. Because, you don't need a GM for it. It uses the same conceptual underpinnings of Quest Crawl, which, if you're unfamiliar with Quest Crawl, it's use a deck of cards to generate a world, and then you go and explore that world with your friends, and the rules and procedures are extremely simplistic. It's very stripped down, and as are the items and magic items you can get throughout the game. Now, Warp Crawl kind of takes that idea and elevates it, so you are now in a warp cluster, and you are all members on a ship, and each of you has a role to play in the operations of that ship. And then there's text that you can load on, and things like that. Obviously, you're not looking for treasure, but you are kind of contending with the politics of your home world, which is interesting, I think. And so one of my favorite things about these games that you've developed, the crawl kind of games. The crawls. Namely Quest Crawl, Waste Crawl, and Warp Crawl. Is that the depth is available, but not required.
Yeah.
You can play them and just have a really simple...
breezy.
Yeah, very fun, relaxed, dice-throwing, card-playing, token-moving experience that's just... Hey, I'm doing the moves,
It's got 7 noses,
fine. Yeah, exactly. You can just kind of have a really simple, light, fun game. Or, if you're feeling it and you want it, you can really get in the dirt with it and be like, oh, on this day that we spent the 5th day in the Hardlands, and fucking really rip out what's happening in those narrative moments. And I think one of the cool comments that we got on Quest Crawl, and I expect to see this coming out of Warp Crawl frequently, is that, this player added a section, kind of a rule, about somebody had, a campfire declaration for the end of the day, describing how that day went. And I was like, man, that's such a good idea. Also, we totally did that without prompting or a rule. When we played, occasionally we would just be like, oh, this was what the day was like. And it's it's cool because you kind of, it emerges...
Yeah.
From the notion of the thing as opposed to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, we... Yeah,
Get the book up here.
I've been kind of, I don't even know if we want to get into this too much. I've been trying to write up a year in review blog post for us.
Oh.
But 2023 was a hard year for me. And like I'm trying not to dwell on that too much, but I do think that some of the people who were in our playtest group didn't make it all the way, but I do think that there's a huge spot in that game for somebody who just loves writing and wants to tell their friends stories and
we're looking at you, Carlisle. Dice So Nice, you say dice twice, is an amazing podcast. One of their players, I think maybe the guy who runs it is Carlisle, and he played Question Crawl,
right?
Is what they played originally on their podcast, and has since then done some fiction based on the world.
Yeah, that's right.
From the Question Crawl, and yes, very much that type of dude where he's just like, oh, I'm going to write a bunch of fiction about my friend's game.
I like Warp Crawl for delivering that kind of distributed world building. Mm-hmm. Like you're all kind of, it's not so much GM-less as it is omni GM'd, like you're all kind of GMing it together. And yeah.
Well, I think what's, I was thinking about this the other day. I think like GMs in one sense are referees.
Yep.
Right. And then there's now like this other thing that the GM is, right, which is like the world builder and the director, right? The storyteller, and there's all this kind of euphemism to it that is above and beyond to being an impartial referee. Mm-hmm. And why would you possibly need a referee? Well, because the rules are complicated and it's possible to cheat.
Yeah.
So you need somebody to check shit. I think it's a super interesting proposition to say, no, you're all responsible for your own behavior at the table.
Yeah.
It is unique in role-playing to say that, and also to have rules light enough that you can say, you don't need a referee for this.
Yeah.
You can just follow the rules that are in the book, self-explained, and you're fine. So yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Well,
Warp Crawl is actually one of my favorite books that we've made.
So I think a big part of that is Alicia.
Alicia did
the layout.
Such a good job in the layout.
Is just incredible. Yeah. I think honestly, I don't know that there are a lot of role playing books that look that nice in the big ticket zone. It's a prettier book than the D20 Future books were 20 years ago. I'll tell you that.
It's funny. So I was we're part of a Canadian distributor called Composed Dream Games. And I was in the call with them for the beginning of the year. So they did all the representatives of the different publishers and stuff came together. And we got in a Zoom call. And we just talked about stuff. And Josh had Warp Crawl there. Yeah. And he pulled it up and was like, oh yeah, this is it. And flipped, through some pages. And everybody's like, whoa, going ballsy with the full color. It's like, yeah. So it is full color. Every single page is just ripping with art and color and really strong layout. Like, it's eminently very usable. Yeah. Huge props to Alicia Yo for being a badass. Now, that said, she's had kind of a difficult year. So, I think originally this year we were planning on releasing, or at least getting most of the way through, Privatized Little Hell.
In 2023. Yes.
And that did not happen.
No, it didn't.
And, that's how health works.
Yeah.
The people you're relying on get sick and nothing you can do about it. So I will pass along to Alicia all of your well wishes and know that Privatized Little Hell is coming when it's done.
Yeah. It's looking great. I mean,
it's so good. It's such a good adventure.
Yeah, I'm proud of my writing. I think Lady Lowry's art is incredible. We had some great other stuff. You've been throwing together a couple things.
I've done a bunch of art for that actually. Yeah. So I think a Privatized Little Hell was one of my first revelations internally about being more productive in digital art and really putting paint to paper,
Oh, yeah.
as it were. Like, I think my red papus looks weird and scary in a really cool way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's some, I'm really pleased with some of the art I was able to crack out in that. Still a ways to go, always.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think, should we talk about stuff we worked on but unreleased now? We're kind of segueing into...
Well, I feel like, oh God, how long have we been doing this? It's been a minute. Let's move on to, let's talk about the rest of the industry.
Sure.
Let's talk about 2023 for everyone else, because it's not, apparently the world isn't about us.
Are there other people doing this? I thought we were...
So 2023 probably signaled like at the beginning of 2023, there was like the apocalyptic death knell, like the bell rang, and all of us were like, what do we do? Because, as everybody knows, the open gaming license was apparently under threat. And then everybody collectively in Titterpigs stood up and said, "Nuh-uh." And Wizards was like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Creative Commons?
It turns out that you can't actually send a Pinkerton to everyone's house.
Good call.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting watching all of the games kind of... I mean, I know, like, obviously Shadow Dark was in the works beforehand, and it just kind of happened to come at this opportune moment, but obviously, like, the MCDM people have their version, Cobalt Press. I forget the name of it, but they have their...
So it was Project Black Flag, and then it became Tales of the Valiant?
Tales of the Valiant, that's it, yeah.
I
feel like that's the one I've heard the least about.
Yeah. So... Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like, I know that there's been a bunch of playtesting. I think there's a bunch of stuff released.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's out. I think it's like playtest releases and stuff. I'll be honest with you. I don't need to replace 5e.
Yeah.
I kind of barely want to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So if something comes along and is like, hey, I'm like 5e, I'm kind of like,
nice.
Cool.
Enjoy.
Like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Not to say that I don't like 5e. I think it's a great system, obviously. Like, we fucking playing it on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We play it, it's one of the games that we play.
It's a great system. It's been out for a long time, and we played a lot of it.
Yeah, sure. And I think, systems are not what gets me going about games, per se. If there's a system that I'm super excited about right now, it's Blood Prairie.
Ah, cool.
Like, someday that'll come out, but we play tested it, and I loved the hell out of it.
Also, in Mexico, we got a chance
we got to play some Blood Prairie. Horror fantasy western.
Yeah. But...
It's horror fantasy western. It's so fucking good. Anyway, super fun. Yeah. So, but, like, I would say that even kind of clipped OSR, like, in direction in terms of it felt more like playing BX with some really cool Western vibes.
It's lethal and character creation is fast.
Which I think I've made this clear before, and I'll make it clear again. Your character creation should be fast.
Yeah.
Like, if it can't be fast, make characters unkillable, basically, is the best option.
Yeah. I feel like we played a little Alternity.
We did play some Alternity. That was pretty fun.
That was fun, but the character creation process is intense. It's...
Well, so Alternity is... Let's talk about the origins. It's like a 2nd edition, 3rd edition game. Alternity was like the TSR D20 sci-fi from the same era as the 2nd edition.
Yeah,
Dungeons
like
and
late
Dragons,
80s
Dragons. So yeah, late 80s, early 90s.
High crunch.
Yeah. And it's got all the marks of that. It's very, very crunchy, very lots of tables.
But I did have a moment as that it wasn't a lava monster, but it wasn't not a lava monster, as I recall. It's a super hot, sluggy thing. I remember that coming towards my characters. I tried to get that door open, and just thinking, like, holy shit, I'm not gonna be able to make a second character before we're done here today. Like, if I bite it, that's it.
Yep. Yeah, and there's the cool thing about Alternity, no resurrection.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck. It was super deadly, though. It was super, super fun, though. I thought. I had a really fun time running that game. Way better than the Morkborg experience.
Yes, the other RPG we tried this year.
We talked OGL. What else happened in the year that is stuff we should talk about? that happened. So you mentioned all the cool kind of 5e killers.
Yeah.
But you didn't actually mention Daggerheart or Candela Obscura, which are both from Darrington Press. Those
Right,
the
the Critical
Role
people.
stuff. I'll tell you, the Candela Obscura got panned widely in the community, and fine, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But like, God, guys, try not to be dicks. Like, people are making stuff, and it's kind of hard to make this stuff anyway. So, like, fine, have an opinion, but try not to be a dick about it.
That's the what's his name?
I know you're on the internet, and it doesn't fucking matter to you, but you know.
That's Mercer, right?
So yeah, Matt Mercer Matt Mercer is the head of Critical Role. I think he is involved, obviously, in the creation of stuff from Darrington Press. There was, I'm not going to be able to remember the guy's name, the lead designer on it.
Okay.
He has some accolades.
So they're a big shop over there, obviously.
The Critical Role. They got money.
Yeah.
What's a big shop mean?
Well, I just meant like Matt Mercer's not sitting there by candlelight writing every word of Candela Obscura himself.
Oh God, no. No.
Right.
Yeah, they totally leveraged an outside writer for most of the
Smart.
systems. Dude, Matt Mercer couldn't possibly do that and everything else he's doing.
Yeah,
it would just be nuts. Maybe he could. Maybe there's 5 Matt Mercers.
That's the key. They're quintuplets.
Yeah.
I've never seen them all in the same place.
The prestige. You prestiged yourself, Mercer.
Yeah, it's interesting that you call them 5e killers because, like...
Oh, I guess, what's the right word? It's the Heartbreaker?
Oh, the Fantasy Heartbreaker.
Yeah, Fantasy Heartbreaker.
We should release one called Fantasy Heartbreaker, I think. We should do our own. We'll just call it Fantasy Heartbreaker. That's a great name.
Is there not a name? There's
I'm
got to
sure
be
there
a game
is.
already named.
I'm also sitting on Greenholm. I want to,
What's Greenholm?
I don't know. It's going to be like Blueholm, but we're going to spell my last name right this time.
Oh, right. You've got the same name. That's
similar name,
yeah.
Yeah. But like Shadow Dark is kind of like, it's like a marriage between that kind of like OD&D vibe with like some 5e stuff in it, right?
Thank you, Kelsey.
It's a very nice book.
Thank you for making a deluxe version so I can feel even swaggier.
I'm excited.
Cardstock pages. You should feel this. It's insane.
That is insane.
Thick.
Pixar mom thick.
Dead ass.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a lovely book. We haven't played. I want to run Citadel of the Sacred Minotaur soon, so we can get into. I think once we've played it a little bit, we should give a good hour over to it. Do a long review.
Okay.
But obviously we're still in the reading stage, and I don't like it when people review TTRPG books and they haven't played them. But I'm going to do it in a couple minutes when we talk about some other stuff.
Well, I don't think you're doing reviews exactly. You're just giving your opinion about it.
Yeah. Talking about books. Talking about books we read. And then, you look at, like you were saying earlier, MCDM, RPG, whatever it's called now, is basically...
I think it's called MCDM RPG.
Yeah.
Like, it's the working title. They don't have a name for it yet.
Has some 4E-isms and some kind of, like, Morkborg-isms, I was calling them, and you were pushing back on that. But my point I'm trying to make is just that all of these 5E killers, none of them are quite the same thing. At least the ones that are out yet, they're all kind of...
That's not actually true. So, Advanced Level Up 5E is literally a 5e clone.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So, and this, no diss to Kelsey. I think what you did was amazing. But Shadow Dark is a 5e OSR clone. Like, it's 5e rules.
Yeah, but it's like, it does have a lot of OSR stuff in it.
No, totally. It's got OSR stuff in it. But it is baked off of that same core. Like, and the value proposition of that is it's super easy to get somebody who's played 5e to go, I get it.
When we were designing Blood Prairie this year, I think we had the same kind of thing where we were like, roll a d20, you've got your 6 stats, it's easy. If you've played D&D, you can walk right in.
Sure.
You don't have to think too hard about it.
Yeah.
As opposed to even something as simple as Troika, I feel like there's a moment when you start playing where you're just like, you don't know what the rules are. Whereas, if something, once you have a d20 in your hand and you've got a sheet in front of you that says, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, you're just like, oh, I know this game.
Yeah.
I've been playing this game all my life.
Right. So, but, as opposed to, right, MCDM is using 2d6 for resolution.
Yeah, they're getting a little weird.
Yeah, they're doing weirder things. Like Candela Obscura is way off in the 2d12s, and I think...
Love a d12.
What's the other ones? The new Daggerheart. I don't know that we know what Daggerheart's going to use inside. But at least Advanced Level Up 5e, which I know is out, and Mike Shea talks about it a lot in on his podcast, the Lazy DM talk show. And yeah, it's just 5e. It's like literally just 5e with extra stuff and extra steps, and it's fine. It seems actually really cool. Well, the coolest thing about it is it's compatible. So you literally can just take anything that exists for 5e and go like, okay, it's staple it on, and it works interchangeably with all this existing stuff. Mm-hmm. It just has extra features to it. So yeah, like that's a thing, right? People are just basically reprinting. And this is what happens. You have no GL, you have SRD.
Yeah,
it's okay. You can do that. You can take the rules, reprint them, make some changes, and ship it as your own. That's allowed. Uh-huh. Getting an audience for that
is tricky.
Harder than it sounds. So, but yeah, so you were saying none of them are actually attempting to kill 5e.
Yeah, none of them are quite in the same. And to be fair, I mean, like 5e, to me, the genius thing about 5e, for all of it's also the worst thing about 5e, is that it's kind of trying to be everything to everyone, right? It's like, it's casual, but it also is trying to be crunchy and have depth, and it's trying to do this, trying to do that, and do like heroic fantasy, but also work for, you know how people are with 5e, where they're like, here's my 5e, I'm doing it right now, here's my 5e Western, like, like you're like, here's my 5e Stone Age, here's my, and I think as a kind of a bread and butter industry staple, it did a great job of being that kind of everything and everyone game. But I think everybody's at a state now where, we've tried palatable, and now we want something spicy or something sweet, or like everybody's kind of making their own taste now. Like obviously Kelsey's kind of going down a very specific road she's exploring with Shadow Dark. I think it's going to do very, very well. I know, like, obviously there's...
It already has. Yeah. Hell, MCDM raised $3.4 million. For theirs. Four? Is it 4 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, over $4 million for theirs. So it's...
You have $4 million. We're going to do a Kickstarter soon.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We actually do have a Kickstarter in the works.
Yes.
You can go check out. It's the Bloody Bell Boots Boogie.
There's a song and a video.
I haven't released.
You haven't released those?
No,
well, coming soon is the song and the video.
Song and video is coming out soon. And we pivoted. Originally, this was written to be a quest adventure.
Yes, by Jesse Brown.
We are now going to modify it to work for quest, 5e, and OSR. Mm-hmm. And inclusive OSR is going to be Shadow Dark, Lamentations, BX, all that stuff.
We'll do the kind of armor as plate plus shield kind of, yeah. I like that stuff, honestly.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think like the usability of OSR stuff comes from that heart of just saying like, however your system does this thing, and uses that kind of keyword for as plate, whatever. Like, so find your thing, use that thing, that's fine. As opposed to printing stat blocks in line, which we also do, and not the best use of paper and ink, if I'm being completely honest.
I think it could be good.
It's nice to have. Yeah. Trust me, when you printed something out or you're buying a book, it's nice to not have to go looking in the back. It's nice to not have to go looking online. Mm-hmm. Those are great things. But in terms of actual value, you're just copying something. It seems weird. It seems odd to me.
As I recall, if my memory serves me correctly, our D&D adventure writer, we were posting, I think, Wake Up Sheeple on there.
Yeah.
And the admin was kind of like, hey, like, thank you for posting a free adventure. Nobody else has been listening to the rules of our subreddit. Like, I'm going to do a little review of your adventure. And they came back with, it would be really nice to have inline stat blocks. And I feel like we took that because it was like the only bit of feedback we had heard in like a month, and we went. Everything now has attached monsters and inline stat blocks, and like we really kind of went in that direction after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a good call out. It was clean. It was, again, probably the first feedback we have ever gotten. Like, we've gotten very little feedback about the stuff that we've created. Like, I'm sure that there's been more than I'm remembering in the moment right now.
Yeah.
But it feels like literally a trickle given how much stuff we've published. The amount of people saying anything about anything we've made.
Yeah.
Positive or negative. Like, we've gotten, I think, more positive. That's the nice thing, is that people don't come in and go like, oh, this is shit, you know.
I did get called a Nazi this year.
Did you?
Yeah.
For what?
Puppets of Beagle Mouse.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
The art got called out.
And then they said, and I read the module, and it was also full of Nazi shit. But I think after
But that's Twitter being hyperbolic,
yeah,
I think.
I think after we talked to them, and they were kind of like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah, well, all we did was change the art. And, like, valid enough that the art looked... So the art was resembling revolutionary propaganda art, which... If you are an American or South American or German or Russian from the last 100 years, you're going to know what that art looks like. And it's propaganda. It is literally that thing that is terrible.
Yeah.
And it was emblematic of that because the module is about the oppression of a people and them rising up. I'm not going to argue your art looks like another piece of art and that's propaganda vibe thing that we got. I took the feedback, I made the change.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do that in public because I'm okay with being wrong.
I was really impressed with you, honestly, because I got that back and I was like, my grandfather fled I'm going to jump down this idiot's throat. And you were just like, I don't want to leave room to be misinterpreted. And I think we should communicate. We should communicate in such a way that we can't be misinterpreted. And I was like, oh, that is correct. that is actually the right way to do that. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I mean, like, the way I think about it is, if a friend of mine said to me, man, I feel like this cover is offensive to me.
Yeah.
I would go, probably like, it's odd that it's offensive to you. Also, you're my friend.
Yeah.
I'll just change it.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world for me to revise it.
Smart.
And luckily for me, I had art on backup ready for this because I had done art for a playthrough of it where a rabbit character had gone through that swamp and done stuff. So I just used the art from that playthrough, which was super fun because it was my partner's character. It was Alicia Yo's character. Got to be on the cover of our module.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That is fun.
That's great. But yeah. You did not get called a Nazi.
A little bit. But that's fine. That's 2023.
Don't worry, you're not a Nazi.
I'm not a Nazi. I'm just a nice small bean. What else happened this year? I read Pariah.
You have not shut up about that, and I'm glad.
Yeah, I
want to try.
Stoked on it. I don't know. Luke Gearing.
Didn't we? You got it. You own it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you for that.
I bought it for you. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, no. I haven't gotten the... I think they're shipping it from... I think they're Latin American, it turns out. So I think it's taking a little while to...
Was it not from drive-thru?
It is, but I don't know. It just says it's like...
So if it's drive-thru, it should be print on demand from...
From the States?
From the United States, yeah. It'd be the closest.
Yeah, I don't know. Just the thing it says is it's like international I guess that is international shipping.
Yep. I had to pay duties on my Shadow Dark.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Oh yeah, I heard that was brutal. Actually, I've seen some.
$36.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
I saw some poor bastard. He was like on the Shadow Dark Facebook group. He was like, "I paid $116 in duties." I was like, "Boy, that U.S., Canada, Mexico free trade agreement is not really pulling its weight, huh?"
The U.S. backed out of that. That's one of the things Trump did.
No, I'm talking about the Trump deal. The Trump. You're talking about the TPP. I'm talking about the USMCA.
You know more about it than I do. Already, right out of the box.
Well, whatever. It's not important. Pariah's great. Luke Gearing did a little series. Hex fill. He wrote a bunch of hexes for it, and then he was like, "I'm gonna play this where each session is one single hex. And the description for each hex is like a line.
Yeah.
So like the first one, I think the party started, it was like, mud men, like 2d6 mud men or something like that. And so like it was like, okay, well, like you've been exiled from your tribe, so your boats pull up to the shore, and now you're fishing for food, catch the fish. Now you're singing at your campfire, and the sound of your singing has attracted these mud spirits, and they want the kid you have with you or whatever, and you have to scare them off with your magic and your singing. And it's just, I highly recommend, check out his blog. He did session reports for like 7 sessions. It starts with them landing their boats on a beach they've just been exiled from their tribe, and I think by the last thing they're like fighting a psychic alien in the end dimension, and one of them gets like mind control powers that are just so incredible that they just kind of are like, so that's the campaign then? Like nothing can challenge you anymore. You are a mind control mutant monster mastermind Mega Man.
You
like
just defeated an alien.
You just you are now the center of a new religion. Like
That's pretty cool.
it was awesome, and I'm stoked to play it. I'm really excited about it. It's got great stuff. There are a couple places where it's not entirely detailed. I think it's a little ash canny, a little kind of draft zero, but yeah, I'm stoked to play it. I also wanted to talk about the 1.5 stuff, the Wall Graphics Warehouse.
Yeah.
So I've been working on a pitch for this.
He's writing an adventure.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and sell it to the Melsonian
Check
people.
it out.
And the guy who wrote Wall Graphics Warehouse, the first in the series, he's also the person who takes the pitches.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so I'm going to send him the pitch. So I have a high opinion of Wall Graphics Warehouse. It's going to sound a little butt-kissy given everything.
You're allowed.
But I think it's fucking phenomenal, honestly. I think it's one of the best Troika modules published so far. I was thinking... We've been kind of talking about playing through some of the published Troika stuff, the official stuff, to, do a review series or just get a handle on what else is out there.
Slate and Chalcedony.
Slate and Chalcedony is very cool. I was kind of thinking of running Slow Slate of Plankton Downs as the starter and get you guys from there into Big Squirm, because there's kind of like a detective through line there that I thought would be really great.
Squirm.
Now I just want to run Wall Graphics Warehouse because it does something that I think a lot of other modules should do, which is it's really a showcase of the rules of Troika and how they can be manipulated, or what other ways you can use them. Like there's a dungeon crawling system in it. There's a sort of a very rudimentary hex crawl system. There's stamina tests. There's advantage and disadvantage. And of course, there's all the stuff you would normally get out of Troika. Like there's like 3 crazy, silly giants who are all up to nonsense, and you have to negotiate with them as you're moving through the warehouse, and all of the craziness you would expect from Troika, but also just a really, really great demonstration of how to use that system to its fullest effect. And you got your Big Squirm.
Putting my Big Squirm sticker on
your scarf worm.
My Nalphine. What is it called?
Nalgene.
Nalgene. That's my Nalgene bottle. You made me realize something.
Yeah.
Just saying that now. Troika is good for playing in liminal spaces. I feel like you could make an adventure of an empty airport in Troika and kill it. Same thing with like a movie theater.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
all
those kind of,
Revengers Disassembled.
Revengers Disassembled is coming for Troika.
Yeah.
Mark my words, probably 2024.
I hope it's this month, actually. Because, the art's already done. I just have to finish the writing. I've got a blog post.
And I have to finish the layout.
Well, I thought we said we'll see how we go. But let's talk about it.
This is how we work.
Yeah, it's just...
So I thought you said you'd do this. Well, I thought you said you'd do this. Okay. Let's talk about it. That's funny.
Yeah. I got a blog post to go with it. I got those, the ogres with movie projectors for heads who shoot their films into your psyche. And, that
sounds cool.
I think that'll be a nice little companion piece to go with it. But
sounds super cool. Anyway, I was just thinking...
Spaces, though.
Yeah, I was thinking, the Mega Midden is a very liminal space, right? It's like you don't go to a junkyard and go, there's so many people here. But it's kind of one of those transient places. Like, you go there to basically be moving somewhere else, and yet you find yourself kind of there for a long time. And it sounds like Walker's Warehouse is kind of the same thing. The warehouse is a very liminal space, right?
Yeah.
So nobody lives there, you know?
Well, it's kind of intrinsic to the whole, like, the 1-5 thing, where they're like, it has to be in or near the city of Troika.
Right.
And we're looking specifically for dungeon crawls and hex crawls. It's like, okay, so that's a limited number of, you know, like, there's only so many kind of...
Parking garage.
Yeah, parking garage. I thought Carnival could be a great one.
Closed zoo.
Closed Zoo is an awesome one, yeah. I saw, I think
Cool.
Simon, I'm going to say his name wrong, but Simon Sislov, who wrote All Dogs Go to Hell for the Lamentations people.
Okay.
I think he's working on a kind of an expanded, what's it called, Zoo of Peng Fing or whatever. Do you know that one?
No.
It was in Vornheim. Anyway, I'm excited for it. He just released on the Facebook group, he was like, here's one of my monsters for the expanded version. It's a nega parrot. I was just
nice.
like, oh my god, this is awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Anyway, we should play that one as well, or at least the older version of it sometime.
Yeah, no. Are we ever going to play Bar Hack again?
Yes,
Okay.
I hope so. Yeah, that was actually, if we're going to talk about 2023, we should talk about Bar Hack a little bit.
That was probably that was the most kind of played campaign that we did
this year.
For the year, because we really kind of iced on Pixels and Pagans.
That was my fault. It's because we had...
I've got a list of things that are your fault, my friend.
Yeah, it's not a short one.
I'm trolling you.
I
don't hold you accountable for things.
The war in Myanmar is... I shouldn't have said that.
Why did you raise the price of gas and then bring it down again when I bought it?
I hate cars. I don't know. I hate cars and I love gas, I guess.
Yes.
What? Yeah, no. So we picked up our Lamentations campaign. I think people are currently hovering around 6th level. We had our Pixels and Pagans campaign. We were all around levels in 13, 5th edition.
Mm-hmm.
We played in February. I think it was the first time all 6 of us had been in a room together.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And
that was at your old apartment.
My old apartment that I lost.
And I brought minis and junk.
Yeah.
Did I? No, that was a different game.
Maybe.
I ran a game with that was Pixels and Pagans. It had Andrew was running it. It was the one with the crazy tube, right? It was on the we were on the moon. How do we end up on the fucking moon?
We're always on the moon.
We're always on the moon.
Keep getting high, ended up on the moon.
Weird. There was a dragon there. You know what I'm talking about. We're on.
Yeah, you're talking about that Shadow Dragon sent us to the moon to.
Right. Yeah, that was Andrew's. That was
Andrew's game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like just in Mexico, I guess I haven't gotten around to running another Pixels and Pagans, so that's my fault. Okay. But we do have a game of Bar Hack coming up, and I'm excited for this one because you will finally meet some elves, I think. And Andrew Ferguson is playing an elf, so it'll be good. I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for that too.
Yeah.
Well, I think we rambled long enough.
Yeah.
We've talked about everything I think we needed to talk about in 2023.
Do we want to say anything about 2024?
Just stay weird.
Yeah.
Get ready. We're coming at you.
So I recently read a thing about how Terry Pratchett, who is one of my favorite authors, and inarguably one of the most prolific, he only wrote 400 words every day.
He's lucky that they all made sense.
Yeah, right. But I'm going to try that this year. I'm going to do 400 words a day. We're going to be writing a lot more stuff on the blog, I hope. I hope we get a lot of good projects out the door. We were just talking about a fun dragon-themed one before we started shooting this. We've got Memento Bombix Mori, I think is probably my favorite 5th edition dungeon I've written. We've got Privatized Hell coming up. It's a close second.
I've been grinding on the art for Bombix Mori too. It's looking pretty good.
So good.
I just say so myself.
Yeah.
I'm pleased. Yeah, Privatized Hell's on the block.
You guys would be excited to see this.
You're going to end up doing the rules conversions for Bloody Bellboot Spooky.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Okay, yeah, alright.
Like, I'll help, but...
Yeah, no, let's...
I'm not doing that by myself.
No, I got you, 100%. Cool. Yeah, it's going to be... So, 2021, we started this beast.
Yeah.
We got, I think,
Got a few things out the door.
modules out there. Oh, no, it was more than that, because we got Long Bear that same year. I guess it was about 8 things done that year.
Then we went like a year where we just went. We had a thing
ham.
every month. We had extra stuff.
23 projects.
Yeah.
Out the door in 2022.
Yeah.
I wrote 12, I think.
Yeah.
Huge year for us.
Huge year. Very busy. 2023, we were just like,
we played.
Chilled.
We played.
We researched, learned a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like learned a lot and really took. So one of the things that I liked about 2022 was that there was a lot of like, get it out, make it work, get it out, the door. And that hustle was amazing for getting us in the habit of and understanding what like the limits were for releasing and like what we could get out and what time limits, and it really forced us to like focus on constraining how much words we were putting into stuff. So we're like 2 pages every month. So stuff like that. We learned a lot in 2022. In 2023, it felt like a much more reflective kind of sharpen all the tools that we had just got. Yeah. You know, kind of experience. So like the production quality on Miss Quinn's and even Dark Side of the Mind are really at a different level.
Yes. Than
what we had, and like Warp Crawl stands above all of that, like by a mile's length.
The way I prep my like our personal kind of home, like the way I prep those games has changed. I think.
Interesting.
Like it's way closer. Like the way I prep adventures now is way closer to the way I write them. Like it's a lot more like Long Bear Valley or that kind of like snippety logliney type style. Whereas before, I feel like I was oscillating between being like I gotta write out the whole big thing and make a whole, or just being like room 3 Dream Monster.
Yeah.
In brackets, it'll say like Centaur Octopus Head, like you know. And
classic.
And I feel like now, just through the practice of doing it so constantly over 2022, and then running games like Bar Hack, the Bar Hack document is massive. Like
we should just publish Bar Hack.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I'll do all the maps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Are you kidding me? I would love to do that.
We could do Bar Hack. Part of me wants to cut it up into its bits and just be like, Elven RV, Elven floating disc house, the adventure, Shaft Dungeon, the adventure, Dog Fort, the adventure, just kind of.
Well, how many words is it, you think, right now? Because I'll tell you what, like, one of the things that I've admired about many of the publishers that I've admired lately is their ability to ship a book that's over 100 pages. And we have not.
Well, fuck. Just let me in, coach.
I
can do it.
I would love to. I would love to create a hardbound stitch. Stitch bound.
A big book.
Big chunky. I mean, this is 325 pages.
I'd love to do a big honkin' hex crawl.
Right.
I feel like, like even like the Megamidden has just been exhilarating to write, but like that's got a hard 10K word cap on it.
Yeah.
And throughout the entire process, I've just been like, I want to add a ballroom dancing scene where I want to do a full rat folk village here. I want to do and it's just like you don't have room for all that stuff when you're like constantly pulling back. But I think it'd be fun to do. Let's do a big one this year.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah. Fun bet. All right. We're ending the podcast. Stop talking about interesting stuff.
All right.
Just kidding. You can, do what you want. I love you.
I love you.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah. And playing games.
Yeah.
A lot of people in this world are doing things that are worse than playing games. So keep playing games.
Yeah, keep playing games. Play our games if you can.
If you can. If you're weird enough, if you can hang in there.
Also, if you've been around this long, you should totally come to Terminal City Con. In March of this year, where we're going to be running Quest Crawl for a whole table for like 3 days. It's going to be awesome.
You can meet us if you want to
I know. Big deal.
This is the time. If you're mad about stuff I've said, I will be doing push-ups until the con, getting ready to fight you. Meet me there.
Yeah, he'll be apologizing to the floor.
I'm so sorry.
Preparation.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Like, subscribe. We got lots of good YouTube content coming up this year too.
Oh yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited. What are we gonna call it?
I like Dungeons and Death Matches. We'll work on it.
Okay, let's workshop it.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's a good start.
D&D and Death Matches. D&D and duels. No.
No.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah.
This is not your problem. Your problem is just to enjoy YouTube.
Cool.
So go do that.
See ya.